Alright guys, we're back for another Dokkan battle and sort of Legends video as well. Vegito Blue just dropped as the 2nd anniversary units on Legends, and he is very good, game-changing. We just saw this in Dokkan. 5-year anniversary, Vegito Blue drops, game-breaking. So I brought the homie Goresh on to discuss these developments and take a look at, the Dokkan Vegito versus the Legends Vegito.
Yeah, this is not your conventional video, I guess. It's going to be kind of tough to compare two games, but, well, it's going to be a fun video, right? It's not meant to be serious at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love doing stuff like this, right? Like the comparisons and being like, oh, this unit's the best, this unit's the best,
You're the guy who made like 400 tier lists like at New Year's or something, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. So what I did was I just okay, top 10 Dokkan Fest TURs, top 10 EZA units, top 10 units that aren't LRs or Dokkan Fest exclusives. I mean, because that's January before anniversary, it's very dry, right? There's not really a lot going on.
Yeah,
kind of
makes sense.
Thought it was a good spot. Okay, but anyway, I mean, Goresh, I'll let you start. So I guess you haven't really had a chance to use Vegito much on Dokkan, right? Since you are a global main and he does come out next month. But I mean, you've seen gameplay of him extensively. I know you've seen posts of people talking. You've seen stuff on Twitter. I don't know. How do you sort of compare the two, or do you think it's easy to compare the two? And I don't know. Just give your thoughts on the Vegitos.
So I think first we should just, for people who, because I assume there's going to be people watching this video who don't really follow Legends, keep up with Legends. So just to give a background on Vegito Blue and Legends. So he just released for the 2nd anniversary. He's like the big hype unit. He's basically the headliner for the anniversary. Even though there's 5 new Sparkings, which are basically SSRs.
Yeah.
He is the unit you want to pull. He's the best one. And at this point, he's probably, I would consider him the best unit in the game, just overall. He does way too much. He kills characters by himself in one combo, and there's not really anything you could do about it. So he's pretty oppressive like that.
Yeah, to the point where he's completely affecting team building, because you can't go into PvP without a green unit on your team.
Yeah. So the landscape of comparing him to Dokkan is going to be a little bit different because of the fact that PvP is obviously its own environment compared to Dokkan, where it's just okay, you just go in with a team, and either the unit does well against the AI or it doesn't do well against the AI.
Yeah.
But for Dokkan, I've had a chance to use UI Goku. I haven't rainbowed, so he is, I think, on a comparable level. At least you could say that to the 5-year LRs.
Absolutely.
Even though people are gonna be oh, well, I think the LRs are better, or the 5-year LRs are better. That's fine. I'm not gonna say you're wrong. But I think it's fair to just at least place them within the same plateau, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't obviously had the chance to use him yet because I'm on global, but I've seen a lot of videos with him, Vegito specifically, and I mean, is there any event where he's suboptimal or subpar? There's not a single event, right?
No, I mean, the only sort of thing I guess you can kind of hold. No, I was about to say is that he's not going to be great for any EZAs, but I mean, actually, he's on Transformation Boost, which is what Super Vegito is weak to. So he's actually one of the good units to use against the Super Vegito EZA. So even EZA, he's going to be great. Because the thing about, using Vegito or Gogeta, because, they are very... I pretty much have them tied, right? I think a lot of the times Gogeta might look a little bit better because of the super effective against all types and the way it just allows units to just be crazy right away, right? But, Vegito and Gogeta, they're very, very close to where, I kind of just, tie them together at the hip. And when they're base, they have that 50% chance of dodging, which really allows them to be effective in, Super Battle Road, EZA, Legendary Goku event, all these places where it's not really units that build up and transform after a long time that are great, but units that are good and quickly, that don't have a lot of transformations or stuff like that. They did a good job of designing both Gogeta and Vegito to be kind of balanced and be great defensively before they transform, because the way they sort of balanced it is that they've got to be the 3rd attacker in the turn. They got to be in slot 3, which means you're only going to get one turn of them as base form, and then when they return, they'll just be transforming straight to blue anyway. So that's, you know, if they didn't give you the high chance to dodge in slot 1, which, because I mean, if they had that, they'd be better than UI Goku, right? Like that would be a big difference.
At that point, it would be pretty ridiculous. But even if they did still have that, I would still say that UI Goku is better defensively, just because of the fact that he builds up his defense so quickly with that great chance to dodge. Because again, it's 70% chance to dodge, and then every single dodge you're getting, I think it's 7% attack and defense. Yeah. So 7 or 11, I can't remember. It's one of those two. I think it's actually 11. But yeah, it's 11%, and then you need to dodge 7 times to build it all the way up to the max.
Yep.
But that is like, because that's going to be applied, like multiplied into the what like the starting base amount, because you start at 77% attack and defense, and I believe he can get up to like 200%, over 200% defense.
Yeah, it looks like it's
mine get up to above 200%.
213% is the number apparently.
Yeah, so I've had my UI Goku hit, I think with Guasen's Zamasu rotation, I think he was at like 230 something thousand defense.
Yeah. Wow. Whoa. Really?
Yeah. So he, like, even because at that point he would have the 50% chance to dodge most of the time. That's after 7 turns have elapsed already. But
yeah,
50% chance to dodge, 230k defense. Like, you're not getting hurt at all.
No enemy in the game can do like. Extreme Super Battle Road, even the strongest stage in the game, right, which I've found to be the Super AGL stage, I think it's around 200k defense where you could start like taking reasonable damage, or around double digits. So UI Goku, even there fully built up, he would take double digits. And the thing too is, I had Hydros mod UI Goku into JP, and I took him into Extreme Super Battle Road, and sure enough, he completely carried and dominated, was untouchable, and then his attack and defense build up so fast where even if he does get hit, it's manageable, even in Extreme Super Battle Road. So, like, he is just, like, insane, right? But, I mean, honestly, you're making... See, this is a good point, right? The whole purpose of this video, right, is I sort of, like, wanted to compare Vegito Blue from the Dokkan anniversary to the Legends anniversary. And whereas, you know... Legends, I guess there is the Zenkai 7 Beerus and Cooler that are at least comparable to Vegito Blue. I mean, you could talk more about that. You have experience. You know, you're one of the few that has both of them, right? Like,
yeah. Well, first of all, I think because the only real way to compare Vegito Blues across both games is to just compare them each to how good he is, like in comparison to other units in their respective games, right? Because there's no other way to do this.
Yeah.
For Dokkan, I would say that he definitely has stiff competition in Gogeta and UI Goku.
Right? I would say that, like, if you were to rank the game, not necessarily by who's the best unit in the game, you know, number 2, number 3, but just like by sort of like tiers, right? I think the top tier is Gogeta Blue, UI Goku, and then Vegito Blue. Like, I think all 3 of them would be in that top tier, and it's only those 3, I think.
Yeah, so he has like 2 other units that are, you know, at least comparable with him, not necessarily better, not necessarily worse. Like, you know, you could make an argument, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So for Legends, the thing with Vegito Blue is, if you guys aren't aware of how Legends works, he's a Legends limited unit, which means that he has a 0.25% pull rate across both, because he's on both banners. There's a double. It's basically a dual Dokkan Fest, but it's 2 step-up banner.
Yep.
And he has a 0.25% pull rate. There's one step that gives you 2 times rates, but, you know, congratulations, now has a pull rate of a summonable LR. But he's very, very difficult to pull. Like, you think pulling like LR UI Goku is going to be tough? Like, this guy has a 50% pull rate of what that guy's pull rate is. So, in order to compare him fairly, I think you really don't want to be like, oh, okay, well, if you're going to compare Vegito Blue to Zenkai 7 Cooler or Zenkai 7 Beerus, then they're all going to be on the same level. Well, it's not true, because Zenkai 7 Cooler, like, you can easily get him up to like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 stars from the banner that's currently live, the Masters Pack Z banner. But Vegito Blue, like, you're going to be spending like 150k plus crystals to get him up to that same level, at least.
Yeah.
Which is not plausible. So, to be realistic, I think like 3-4 stars is probably somewhere where you are gonna see him most of the time in PvP.
Yep.
So a 3 to 4 star Vegito Blue, I think that's where we should probably talk about him in Legends. When compared to someone like Zenkai 7 Cooler at like 10, 11, 12 stars, it's close, I would say. He probably would say Vegito Blue is better, just because of the fact that that ability where he gains an extra strike card every time he uses one, that's like probably a top 3 sentence in the game in a unique ability.
Yeah, so, okay, so, I've come back to Legends Strong during the anniversary. I'm having a lot of fun, and that does feel like just the most insane thing ever. Like, even though they did limit it to only twice, the fact that not only do you draw a strike card for using a strike card, but then you also restore 5 ki. So, like, you're using these strike cards, for basically, like, the cost of 10 is what his strikes end up being? Like, after he gets
And don't forget the fact that he also reduces health restoration by 100%. So if you're fighting somebody with endurance, even though his ult does technically nullify endurance, if you just strike somebody and then you strike them again and you pop their endurance, their endurance is gonna pop, but they're gonna only revive at 1 health.
Yeah.
So it's basically like he basically has the hit ability, because hit has the ability to nullify endurance just from his normal attacks. Vegito Blue basically has that same ability. It just has to be a strike attack, and then all you do is tap the enemy once and they're dead because they're at 1 health.
Wow.
Yeah, so they were clearly saving that for him. Like, that's not something we've ever seen before. Usually with melee-based units like Vegito Blue and like Kefla and stuff, they all have card draw speed, because card draw speed is very important now. All the best units in the game have card draw speed. LF Vegeta has 2 times card draw speed with his main ability. Emergency Masu, I think, is able to get that too. Like, most of the best units have card draw speed.
Yeah.
That one part of his unique, Vegito Blue's unique, lets him just not need card draw speed, which is so stupid.
I feel like that... Okay, so another thing, too, the card draw speed is, like, ridiculously good, but it's something that just, like, further is enhanced in the hands of a really good and skilled player, right? To where, like, when you're using the proper techniques, charge stepping and stuff like that, it really makes, like, LF Vegeta a frightening unit. But this Vegito Blue, by making him like that, they made him very beginner friendly, right? Because you don't have to be doing that for him to be incredible.
And then to even reinforce that, they gave him blast armor on his strike cards, so that if you're a beginner and you're not like too familiar with how the game works, like you just like you're like, okay, let's just go for a strike card. And if the enemy happens to do a blast attack, like normally you wouldn't be able to get through that, because you would just get pushed back with the blast. But Vegito Blue's just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go through this blast card real fast. Like,
yep.
So if you're a beginner, that's really like, it's basically like a handicap pretty much. But it's insane, like what they did to Vegito. I don't. This is I'm gonna make a theory here. They did a update to the battle system recently, and they removed what's called tackle step from the game.
Yeah. And
what that was you would be able to tackle after a strike card. You would like sidestep, you would dash to mid range, and then you would tackle, and then that would let you extend the combo and buy time. If that existed with Vegito would be comboing for like 2 minutes. So my theory is that they removed tackle step from the game, and they had to rework the entirety of how tackle operated in the game, just because of the fact that Vegito Blue had that one sentence as unique.
Yeah, I remember when the update happened, I watched your video on it, and you theorized that the anniversary unit is probably going to have insane card draw speed or be able to just combo forever because of that change. And that ended up being the case, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, because we saw that same thing happen. I believe there was some unit that came out right after an update, and we were like, oh, okay, yeah, this is why they nerfed this. And it's like, this is the same thing that happened, because they were probably testing him out, and they were like, yeah, this is not going to happen.
Interesting, yeah. Yeah, so, like, if we're... See, the thing about Vegito Blue... okay. The fact that Legends is, like, a PvP-based game definitely does make it difficult to compare just strictly to, like, a PvE game. But, like, just looking at it, to me, the fact that there is, like, stiff competition to Vegito and Dokkan, to the point where I even think UI Goku is just straight up better, right? Like, by the time Vegito Blue and Gogeta Blue are fully built up, and like once they're in blue, quickly they will surpass UI Goku, right? But it takes time to get there, whereas UI Goku immediately is like amazing because of the 70% chance to dodge. He doesn't even like, even if you took his build up out, he is still like a top 5 unit in the game or something like that, because you're still having a 70% chance to take no damage on a summonable LR who has some of the best like stats in the game anyway, right? Like UI Goku has like the 3rd highest attack in the game or something like that. So
yeah, I believe we're 22,000 attack, right?
Yeah, it's 22,800, which is just like, it's nuts. Like there's so few units at that level. And then, you know, Vegito is kind of like a pairing unit with Gogeta Blue. So you have units that are very, very comparable or better, whereas in Legends, it's like the only way you can come up with anything that could come close to Vegito Blue is these Zenkai units that, like, you know, they're the epitome of just like wailing, right? This is not something that everyone has access to. It's only, you know, certain players who are either going to save up all their crystals for a long time to do these Zenkai summons, but then you also have to have already had the unit with what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 copies? So, like,
yeah.
that's it. Like, you have to have the equivalent of a unit rainbowed from Dokkan in order to even Zenkai them. And then after that, you have to use, like, what would you say, like 20k Chrono Crystals to do all the summons to get them to Zenkai 7?
Yeah, 20k is a good, it's a good average.
Because I just did it for Beerus, right? Because, like, I know you've done it for a few units and stuff like that, and I've heard you guys complaining, and it is definitely very annoying. Like, having to just, like, do these small-ass summons over and over and over, it's like, oh, boy.
Hey, skip them all.
Yeah.
By the way, something that Dokkan needs definitely is a skip animation button for
summons. Yeah, yes, definitely. Because, you know, when it's, all right, cool, you know, 3,000 stones in the banner, and I haven't gotten LR Rose yet, you know, sure wish I could
go into the summon and it's like just Chaozu, and you're like, okay, cool, like, can I skip this?
Yeah, that is weird. 5 years they don't have that in there. That's very odd.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, like, if we're just going over everything, because Vegito Blue is just, like, unparalleled, unless you have these very, very specific, very money-oriented units that could sort of match him, you know, very similar to, like, an EZA and Dokkan, except if you would have to pay for it. I just think, like, Vegito wins. Like, I think he, like, sort of, like, if we're comparing the units' impact on the game when they arrived, or, like, how good they can possibly be towards each other, like, I think the Legends Vegito Blue wins out. Just with how ridiculous he is.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I haven't used the Dokkan Vegito Blue yet, but I've seen so much content on him just since he's been out. I mean, at this point, it's, what, 4 months?
Yeah.
But he's definitely, like, I think when he first came out, you could have had a better case for it, right?
Yeah.
Like, him and Gogeta were just, like, the pinnacle of the game at that point.
It's just dropping UI Goku changed it.
Yeah, I mean, but okay, so this is probably what I'm gonna leave it with. In Dokkan, it's much easier to orient units to be good in different modes. So Vegito Blue is going to be nuts insane in, like, Legendary Goku event and in the Dragon Ball history, but he's not going to be nuts insane in Extreme Super Battle Road.
Yeah.
Legends Vegito Blue is going to be nuts insane in PvP. He's going to be nuts insane in Challenge Battle. He's going to be nuts insane in UST, in the Ultra Space Time Rush. He's going to be nuts insane in Cubs. He's literally every single place you could use him, he's going to be crazy, because there isn't really as big of a distinction between the events in Legends as there are in Dokkan, because it's just, you know, just the nature of the game.
Yeah, even, like, the Challenge Rush, like, you know, you're just sitting there convoying them just for so long, and it's just like, I don't know. They made him just absolutely nuts, this Vegito Blue. Now, one thing I do want to sort of mention, too, I have to mention this. So, like, the Blue Fusions from Dokkan, they do have sort of, like, this hidden ability that, like, I feel like most people know about it by now, but they have their active skills, which are just, like, absolutely devastating, like, kill shots, right? Because the enemy has to have less than 50% HP, and it has to be at least turn 6 in order for you to be able to use them, because they transform on turn 4, right? Now, if you use their active skill in the 3rd slot, it activates that part of their passive, because they have different conditions for being in slot 1, 2, or 3, right? and I have tested this. This does work with, you know, if you use her active skill in slot 2 and then in slot 1, like each slot is like counting separate for like additional attacks and stuff like that. But if you do, Gogeta and Vegito both work like this. If you do their active skill in slot 3 and then you put them in slot 1, you will activate everything in their passive. So they will then have a 50% chance to dodge in slot 1. He did his active skill attack, which, you know, is going to be one of the most damaging attacks in the game. And then Vegito Blue could then super attack 4 times. Like, it's just like that pinnacle right there, like, could even be better than the Spirit Bomb. Because, like, you know, maybe Dokkan creates some boss where no matter what you do, you can't one-shot them with the Spirit Bomb in the future. But there's a good chance if that was the case, you would be able to dodge them, which then Vegito would have. So, like, you know, he does 4 super attacks, his active skill super attack, and he's got a 50% chance to dodge. Like, it's just like that ability that both him and Gogeta have is like nothing in Dokkan is even close to that. But it is very difficult to make it happen because they're so strong that they kill anything before you can even see all that occur, right?
Yeah, I think that's actually fine that that's in the game. Like,
yep.
Again, like you said, it's going to be so rare to see that actually activate that it's kind of like the Spirit Bomb, right? In order for the Spirit Bomb to be at its best, you have to be building up for like multiple, like 12, 13, 14, 15 turns of super attacks with Goku.
Yep.
And at that point, the Spirit Bomb is going to be just like a tactical nuke, basically.
Yeah.
But it takes time to build that up, and it's not something you're going to see every single time because, again, you also have to have, you know, 3 representatives, Universe 7 units on your team. You have to be under 59% health, and then your passive has to be unprocced for it to be super effective against all type. Like, just so many different like hoops you have to jump through for it to be at its best.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of similar, but I don't know, because not many enemies can even survive just the active skill, let alone the 4 super attacks that come after that.
Yeah, and then it's a very similar thing with Goku too, where this monster attack, but then they did toss this other ability on where he raises allies' attack by 30% for 1 turn, but it's the, you know, out of phase active skill buff, so it's actually way higher than 30%. Like, we still have not really gotten a chance to test that out. I mean, I guess you can in Super Battle Road, but like, it's not like the true like built-up version of the Spirit Bomb, right? Because you would do that in like turn 1 or something like that.
Yeah, I did a run actually in Super Battle Road in my UI Goku video where it was UI Goku, I think double UI Goku leader, and then the Spirit Bomb was just being used every single fight, yep. And he would just dodge every attack, and everyone would just die. Like, it's an easy way to do and the way to run for the Universe Survival Saga Super Battle Road stage. Just because it's just a cheese way of killing it. Like, there's no other unit in the game that can really do that. I mean, because think about it. Use a Spirit Bomb turn 1 with Goku. That's just the best case scenario. Use a Spirit Bomb turn 1. And then you have like 2 attacks coming in or 3 attacks coming in at UI Goku. That Goku is going to be 3 out of 7 built up. Plus he has a Spirit Bomb buff. Plus he's linked up with the Spirit Bomb Goku, who's like the best linking partner.
Yep.
He's going to be hitting for like 5 million turn 1, and he's dodging everything.
Yep.
So, pretty stupid.
Ridiculous combo for sure. So, there we go, guys. We made the case for both Vegito and also Vegito.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, just the last thing. We did go off tangent a lot on just like other units in Dokkan, but that's relevant because those units are comparable to Vegito Blue, which is the whole point that in Legends he doesn't really have that. So
yeah, they're the measuring stick that we used, right? Yeah. Now, also, guys, we tried to look at this one from more of a Dokkan perspective on things. Like, we were talking really in depth about Super Battle and stuff like that. This is part 1. Part 2 over on Gresh's channel, we're going to look at it more in depth from the Legends perspective. So make sure you all head over there to part 2. Check it out for the 2 blue Vegitos. I mean, no matter what, it's very clearly that the head honcho is involved with Dragon Ball. They know who their big money maker is, right? And it's Vegito.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Even in Legends taking away Gogeta, his fight versus Broly, they made the Vegito animation. Oh, man.
And they make Gogeta an EX.
Yeah. So, Goresh, my boy, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
All right, and we will see y'all in part 2.